Hey everyone, Martin is here again, and today again I'm gonna be doing a new tutorial for one script of mine. This one is the MT dealerships. This is basically an advanced vehicle shop script for 5M. Basically here you have a lot of features that I'll be showing later on the video. I'm gonna try to do this video a little faster than before. However, the script have some plus configuration that we gotta do for every dealership. So I'm gonna try to make this part of the installation really fast to start showing every feature of the script and every configuration possibility that we can do on the script. Probably I'll miss something, but if I miss something, please leave in the comments, or if you have any question, leave in the comments or open ticket on my Discord. The Discord will be on the video description. You can join, open ticket. Please don't use the chat to ask anything. That is just to socialize with the community. So first of all, you gotta buy the script and go to your here. You're gonna need to download the V2. The V1 is this one. Please don't download this. This is a pretty old script that have some issues, and that's the why I did the V2. You go open this as any other script. Just so in here you just copy the file, and that's it. So first of all, you gotta go to our documentation website, mtscripts.dev, like I showed on the video before. So in here you have all our documentation. To start, you go on the dealerships 2.0 installation, and here are all the installation you gotta do. First of all, you go open your SQL management software. In this case, I'm using ADSQL. You go choose the server you're using. In this case, I'm using Qbox, and on the query you paste the queries given on the documentation, execute, and that's it. For ESX, if you don't have the owned vehicles table from the default ESX, you just go copy this and execute the same way you executed this one before. So for installation, that's pretty much it. But now we have a little issue based on the configs. A lot of people make mistakes here. This is not a really basic script to configure, so I'm gonna guide you for all the options we have and try to be clear on every config option. So in the config.lua, the main config of the script, you have basically the framework configuration and some other little settings you can choose. So first of all, you have the debug. It is pretty much explained here what it is. So if you're configuring the script, you want to know how the zones are done, you just set this as true or false. If you're on a production server, just set this false, so when no players will see this. For the framework, you can choose between QB, QB Core, Qbox as QBX, and ESX, that's ESX. Any other framework can be editable if you got the open source script, because some of the script parts use integrated framework functions. That's why we only have these three frameworks available in that case. So first of all, the config.core is the export for your core. If you use Qbox or QB core, just leave like this, don't change anything. But if you use ESX, you go copy this one and replace with this one. Pretty easy. Then here's the target. We have three pre-configured target systems: the aux target, that's what I really advise to use, QB target, and interact. This interact is one pretty simple script, but any other interact or target you use, you can just go on the client functions.lua, and there you can change the exports to use which target you want. Then you have the banking. This part is where most of the people have mistakes doing. I'm gonna show you how to to change the exports to non-configured, pre-configured systems. In this case, we have QB banking and renewed banking by default, but as it says here on the server functions, you can change that. Then we have the key system. We have the QB vehicle keys, QBox vehicle keys, MK vehicle keys, and Quasar vehicle keys by default. As I said before, on the client functions, you also can configure this. I'm going to show you later in the video again. Then we have the locales. This is the locales for the UI. You got to choose to be the same as the ones you have set on the Oxlab. Then we have the tablet animation. This is basically if you want something more, I don't know, improved, then you can enable this. On my case, I don't like this, so I'm gonna set this as false. You have the M insurance. This is basically if you have the insurance, Marcinho's insurance script, you can enable this. I don't have, so I'm gonna disable. Here you choose the inventory for that system. Here we have the Discord webhooks for logs. You just paste here the webhook link, and that's pretty much that. And there here we have the commands. The commands, you can change the command name to your language or whatever you like. So I'm gonna open this folder. Not this one, sorry. This folder with the VS Code to make sure it is easier to show you. So first of all, most important part on the script is the dealerships folder, other than config. So in here we have a lot of possible ways to configure the script. We have two example files, one for an unknown dealership. Basically all players can go here and buy the vehicles they want, change the vehicles on the showroom, etc. It is all open, but we have a lot of options to configure here, and I'm gonna show you that in this config. Basically, every time you use any job or create a new dealership, if you use job, in this case, the car dealer, the job needs to be car dealer. Or the opposite. Basically, the job needs to match the ID. Like it says here, make sure to always read the comments on the options. Here you can enable or disable the dealership. Here you choose the label for the blip. Here you can enable or disable the job if you want the catalog to be blocked to some job instead of the main job. Like, I don't know, you want to do a police dealership for the police to buy their vehicles. You can just set the job as false and the catalog as police. In this case, it will not use the dashboards. You can just disable the dashboards in everything that's related with that. But in this case, I want this to be a dealership with jobs, so I'm gonna do the configuration for that. So I have the job as car dealer, then the local catalog job as false. Currency, I have cash. You can have bank cash, any other currency you use, but that's only for QB and QBox. In this case, for ESX, you can use money or bank, but for any other frameworks, you can use like crypto, whatever, anything you have created as a currency. For the stock, you can enable or disable to use stock. If you want the stock enabled, basically you use stock. You need to stock the vehicles. You can have a mission to stock the vehicles or not, but this config that needs mission. If you have the stock enabled, you can use this config to choose if you want just like they press the button and the button and the stock is added, or if you want them to make the pickup mission. Then you have the allow by catalog. Even if you have the job enabled, you can allow the players to buy the vehicles from the catalog. I have a problem saying catalog. This is a really weird word. My English is really bad, sorry. Then you have the allow change vehicle. This is probably almost the same, but basically this is only for the job. Let's imagine you have the job enabled and you don't want the people from the job to be able to swap the vehicles on the showroom. You want that vehicles to be static, or if you don't even have the vehicles, you can disable this and they will not be able to change the vehicle on a showroom. If you don't have the job, it will apply to people, to normal people, any people that want to change the vehicle. But if you have the job enabled it and disenabled, the normal people, civilians, will not be able to change the vehicle unless they have the job set. We have the mission. I already explained it how it works. Then we have the test drive working bucket. By default, we have a routing bucket created for the test drive to prevent other players to interfere on the test drive. Or let's imagine you're doing a test drive on high speed and then the police stops you. What mostly happens on some servers, it is like they are stopped by the police, they stop, but then they despawn since they are on a test drive and they need to get back to the dealership. In this case, it will not happen because they are on a new routing bucket, in this case, a new dimension, new world, whatever you want to call it. They are not seen by other players, only players that are doing the test drive with you. Then we have the test drive time. This is in seconds. By default, I have 50 seconds. This is pretty much a lot of seconds, but you can, like, imagine you want people to really test the script, test the vehicle, you can set like 5 minutes, whatever. Then the test drive spawn, this is the place where they will spawn to do the test drive. In this case, it is in front of the dealership. You don't need to set this in a way long way, a place away from the dealership or the city, whatever, since they will not see you doing the test drive. Then we have the truck. This is only if you have the mission enabled, of course. Truck and trailer and truck spawn. The truck is the truck you will use on the mission. The trailer is a trailer, basically. Then you have the truck spawn. That is a place where the truck for the mission will spawn. The buy spawn is the place where when you buy a vehicle, it will spawn there. So you can place like in the back of the dealership, front, wherever. That's up to you. Then we have the commissions. This is a really confusing part that most of people have issues, but this is really simple. Okay, you have a percentage of the vehicle price that will buy it. That's the buy percentage. Let's imagine the vehicle price is 10,000. If you set this to 50, like this is, you want the dealership owner, society, whatever you want to call it, will only pay 15% of that price. In this case, 5,000 instead of 10,000. Then we have this, but then when they sell the vehicle to the player will pay the 10,000 and they will make 15% of money. Yeah, that's pretty much that how the dealership makes money. Then you have the sell commission. So this is the price that the person who sells the vehicle to the player will receive from the vehicle price. Let's imagine you do 40%, you do 50% of by percentage, so they will make 15% of profit. But you want this to automatically pay the employees based on the price they or on the vehicle's price they sell. So they will receive 10% of that 50% and only 40% will go to the society. That's basically an automatic way to pay players instead of just wait for the society, for the fuck, I don't know how to say that thing, how the job owner to pay them, basically that. I'm confusing the things, but this is pretty easy. Then we have the blip. This is the blip location for the dealership. Pretty easy. You have the enable if you want to disable these and like use a police one. Here you have the location for the blip, sprite, color, scale, display, simple things and normal for the blips. Then we have the dashboards. Here you can create any dashboard you want. You can create unlimited dashboards, just setting the vector tree and radius. I'm gonna show you how to create a new dealership later on the video too, but I want to explain everything in here so people who have some knowledge will already know how to do the things really easily. We have the catalogs. In here we have a lot of options that we can do. By default, I only have these ones. That's the chords, radius, this is the target. Then we have the vehicle chord, that's the place where the vehicle will spawn. The vehicle, that's the vehicle that will spawn on these chords, and the vehicle color, that is the default color that the vehicle will have to be synced with all the players. Then we have the prop, that is the prop name in the prop spawn chords, or the props chords. I'm not 100% sure, but that will spawn a prop on that location if you like have some MLO that don't use don't have any prop to place the catalog. You can just spawn the prop and it will be there. Then we have the cactuaries. All these cactuaries need to be inside the config vehicles. Also, I forgot a little thing on the catalogs. Here, the vehicle. All these vehicles need to be inside this folder, this file, the vehicles.lua. All these vehicles need to be registered here, and the shop needs to be the ID of that shop. In this case, for the cactuaries also. Otherwise, the vehicles will not show on the catalog. This is the pickup points. You can set unlimited pickup points to make sure to prevent they spawn a lot of trucks on that locations. This is basically the place where you're gonna pick up the trailer for the mission. Here is basically just a Core vehicles list. It is just copy paste the examples, but we have some options that you can add and show on the UI for a better, like, I don't know, organization for the people have some more info before buying the vehicle. Let's imagine you use a class system like we use on our workshop script, and you want the people know what is that vehicle class. Instead of they need to go to the test drive into /class, they can just see on the UI, it will show the class there. Then we have the seats. That's basically the same thing. Imagine you have a vehicle, but you want people to know what is that vehicle number of seats. You just set the number of seats on the vehicle array, table, whatever. And then we have the weight, that it is the trunk weight and glove box weight. Then you can show to the players before they buy the vehicle too, and they know what is the weight of that vehicle. I guess I have an example here. Yeah, that's pretty much this. You have class, seats, you weight. Here you set basically that. The weight is in kilograms, so it is not in milligrams like some is. So this is kilograms. I only have some examples in the first two tables, two cactuaries, whatever, to show how this works, but then you can configure for the rest of the cactuaries. And this is basically all the default vehicles then we can use. So this is pretty much it. Pretty simple to use, pretty simple to configure. And I'm gonna show you now how you can integrate some other scripts you use. We can start with the target script. This is pretty simple, right? We go on the client functions.lua, and then here we have all the target functions. First of all, we have the sphere zone target. All right. So some of the target systems are like how do I say, QB target. Let's imagine QB target don't have a sphere zone. They only have the circle zone, that is pretty shitty, and that's what is said here. So let's imagine you don't have a target like Ox target that have a sphere zone. You can do some math calculations like I did here, pretty simple. Just follow this example, and then you can really easily do the sphere zone but with a box zone. It will be the same, but instead of a circle, a sphere, whatever, you will have a box, but we'll do the same thing. So if you have some target that works the same way as QB target, you just copy this export, change the name, and that's pretty much it. Or you just change the name on the config, it will work. Then we have interact. Let's imagine you have a different interact, like I had some tickets opened before. They have an interact that the script name is interact, but is not the same interact as I used here. So you gotta change the export to that interact. And then we have the aux target. But that's pretty much the create zone target function in the create entity target function. Now the same for the management menu. We don't have a config option for the management menu because we are using the framework default management menu in here. So it is checking if you what is the framework you're using, and will execute the function or the event or export you have on that framework menu. In this case, for QB, we have the QB management, that the event is QB boss, like it is here, open menu. And then we have the QBox, that is the export it uses is this one. So if you want use another one, you can just delete all of this and just paste the export for that for the one you use. It's the same for ESX here. Notify, the same thing. You can go here, change the notify. That's pretty much it. Make sure to see the parameters here. It uses message as a string and the type as a string. Here you can see we need to place these variables here. Hide text UI. Let's imagine you want to use another text UI other than empty lib one. In this case, you only can forget this one. This one was made before we had the lib, oxlib, text UI, but now we have the empty lib, and the empty lib one is not possible to disable since it uses a different system. Spawn vehicle. Here is the place where you can change the plate generated for the script. In this case, we generate the plate. What is that? Plate. Okay, I don't know. The generation is not here, sorry. Here is the keys. Basically, if you use another key system other than the ones we have on the config, that basically we have all of these ones. QS, MK, Renewed, Mr. New. All of these are options as a key system. And you can just go here and replace this key system, export to use your own system. This is pretty much the function to spawn the showroom, so I'm gonna pass the functions and we don't need to change anything. Here is the generation of the plate. Let's imagine you have a different plate format you want to use on your server. You can just go here, change this code, and it will return the plate for the vehicle the way you want it to be. That's pretty much it. Here you change the config, the export to remove the vehicle keys on some vehicle system you have, vehicle key system you have to use the remove function. So now let's imagine you want to change the banking system. This is another file that is a server functions.lua. Here you can change these three functions, exports, to use the ones you have. Mostly of the scripts use this export that is add money. That's why we have this as an else instead of a else if. So if you set the config.lua, the config.banking as your banking system, your banking name, wherever, and it works, that's because it uses this export, so you don't need to do anything. Otherwise, if your banking uses different system, you gotta change here the export. Now let's imagine you use like a banking that don't have the functions, the features to manage your exports, to manage it, the society funds, the job funds. Basically, you gotta change the exports and the name on the config to the system, you have to manage that. Let's imagine you still use the old QB management to manage the society money. So you set as QB management, it will work. Otherwise, if it does not work, you gotta change the exports. That's pretty much it. So I guess for now that's it. I'm gonna show you how the scripts work, all the script works in game, and show you how to create a new dealership pretty easily. It is really easy. And I guess you'll be fine to understand how this works and create as many dealerships as you want to make it your players happy. So I'm here in game and I'm gonna be doing config for this MLO because I know a lot of people use the default one and they have some issues. So as a start, we go on the default map for all PDM file. I changed the name to GTA PDM just to make sure it is the GTA one. And then here you have the locations of the vehicles that I believe they are really good by default. So you go here, you choose the place where you want and copy the vector tree for the prop. Then you have prop set prop coords equals to the vector of that location, and then you have the prop, I don't know, equals to the prop name you want. In this case, I'm gonna be using this one. I believe this is a really nice prop to show, at least the best one from GTA. And the prop is here. You can see now that I can interact with it, but if I go some location without the prop, I can't do anything because the prop don't have any collision to do anything. I can't do anything even if I had the job. So I'm gonna be doing these to all three locations as I shown before. Like here I have the locations. You copy the limit coords. You copy these set. I want the prop to be the prop coords. Then the prop name just copy the one before. Pretty much this is what we do. This one I did it. So here are all the locations done. So now I can interact with everything correctly. I can even test drive the vehicle. Like you see here, test drive working correctly. Make sure you have the MTLib installed for the test drive to work. Now, the only change we gotta do on this file for this to be perfect for this MLO is basically the management menu. A lot of people have issues with this because they don't set this correctly. So basically you have here the zone, right? The zone slash zone sphere, and you're gonna get the zone creator from Oxlib. You set the place you want this to be, and you go on the Oxlib created zones, and here you can copy the zone created. Simple. You have copied the vector, in this case is the same, the radius. Restart the script. Dashboard, and that's pretty much it. It is working correctly. And I can also open the boss menu. In here I can manage everything. If you possibly don't get any value here, it can be two things. Probably you don't have money on the society to be able to buy things in here, or you don't even have the, let's say, the export correctly to get to get the values here. So now if I do some importations, the importations will be saved here in the cells here, and you can just see that and know everything your employees are doing. I guess that's pretty much it. I hope this helped you understand how my script work and helped you doing everything correctly to make sure your players enjoy the best script ever the correct way. So thanks for watching this. Hope you keep supporting me as I keep supporting you guys and helping you guys in everything you want, everything you need. join my Discord, give some suggestions. If you have any issue, just open a ticket. I'm here to help everyone. So that's it. See you soon. Love you. Bye.